I had that much anxiety. I think that noise. I thought he was coming through the woods to come and get me. I had night terrors for years. For years.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Truth Proof. And we're going to have a bit of a bonus edition today. We're going to listen to a man talk about some of his early life experiences whilst living in the UK. He's now emigrated to New Zealand, but what he's got to share with you guys and the listeners after you're listening to it on the Truth Proof live stream when it pops onto YouTube is going to be really fascinating. And we've exchanged quite a few emails, and I know that it took us a while to actually get to this point to speak. But we'll be talking to someone who's very genuine, and that's what Truth Proof's all about, genuine people. So I'll not labour on this any longer. I'll bring in Mark, and we shall see where this takes us. Okay. Hello, Mark, and welcome to Truth Proof.
Hello, how you doing, Paul?
I'm good, thank you. And it's took us a while to get to this point, Mark, but I think it's going to be well worth it, and everything will be at your pace. And as I said in a recent interview, even though this is pre-recorded, I'll let this run. I'll let you look at this after we've put it together. And if at some point you decide that you're not happy with it, we won't run it. It's as simple as that. Just give us a little bit of a background about you, Mark, please.
Well, I'm actually a Yorkshireman, even though my accent denies me that. I was born in North Ferriby, of all places, and my mum and dad are from Hull. So I was born in 1970 and just spent about a year in Hull. And my dad was an electrician. And it was, in those days, the work was a bit short. So he ended up moving down to a place called High Wycombe, which was, we actually moved to a village just outside, but High Wycombe was growing a lot in those days because of all the work. So High Wycombe just swallowed up all these small villages. And where we actually rented a house, was a new estate in a place called Terriers, which borders on the Chiltern Hills. I don't know if you've heard of the Chiltern Hills or
I have, yeah.
So it extends sort of northwest all around London. So and it sweeps across, and it used to pick up in Forest back in the old days. And it's a real nice part of the world, beautiful part of the world. And we had a woodland at the back of our property that was, part of the Chiltern Hills, and that's sort of it. And then there was more houses behind there, but it sort of dog-legged round, and then it actually attached to the Chiltern Hills. And I often, as a kid, used to just wander off, just go for my walks. I was a bit of a loner when I was a kid, but when we moved down, and I think this is what is the cause for all my experiences or all my encounters. Because when I was 3, I was run over by a car, one of those XJ8s, the big old Jags.
The big Jaguar.
Yeah. And I had a weird experience then because I had a head injury. But when it happened, I was looking down on it all. I wasn't in my own body.
So you've had this traumatic injury, and you've then left your body and observed the scene.
Yeah. And I'm looking down, and I'm in my dad's arms. Crazy, isn't it? But
absolutely,
I felt this, and it's weird because I could see all around 360. It wasn't like I was looking out my eyes. I had this 360 sort of experience, and there was like a real bright light coming from behind my left shoulder, but it wasn't the sun. I mean, this was during the middle of the day.
And did everything seem colourful as well then, Mark?
Yeah, real colourful, real vivid, because I can remember it as if it was yesterday.
Yeah.
Real vivid. So I think having that head injury, and I ended up in hospital. And the weird thing was, I was looking down, even the hospital visit, I'm looking down on the whole scene.
Is this prior to going to the hospital, or while you're unconscious?
While I'm unconscious, I think.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know, but there's nobody better placed than you to form those opinions, and it's good to put that one in, because our listeners might not know. If I hadn't have asked it, I might have been thinking, so did he slip into that state again when he got to hospital? So you're unconscious, we assume. And
Yeah.
on the journey and during the treatment in hospital, you can still observe yourself.
Yeah, I'm looking down on the whole thing, eh? And then if we fast forward to 1976, you remember the real hot summer we had?
Yeah.
It was scorching, wasn't it? And it went on for ages. And so I'm 6 years old by this point, and this woodland in the back of our property, we used to, we never, even though we had a cut through to get into this woodland, we used to walk round. Oh, it'd be a good mile walk, and there was this old Tudor farmhouse that owned all this land, and they used to own the land that our house was built on. And there was an old lady living there, and we used to knock on the door and say, "Excuse me, do you mind if we play in the woods?"
All right, out of respect.
Yeah, old-fashioned, isn't it? And she was lovely. She said, "Yeah, of course you can." And so there was me and my brother, and we wanted to make a swing. There was a meadow in the middle of this woodland. We wanted to build a swing on this tree, this big old oak tree, but we couldn't reach the branches. So there was a load of lads across the road from us who were a lot older than us, about 5 or 6 years older than us, but my sister was the same age. So we managed to get them, and we brought a ladder, so they put the swing on. And as we were walking back off this meadow part, there were those big trees that surrounded this really old trees that surrounded this meadow. For some reason, I couldn't hold the ladder because I was too small. So I was right at the back.
Yeah.
So I was just following them. And something caught my eye to my left, over my left shoulder. So I spun round, and all I can see it as is, the ribbons of energy you get off the sun.
Yeah.
Those swirling, that pattern.
I know what you mean. Yeah.
So I could see there was like these swirls of that pattern, like golden.
Yeah.
Like ribbons of this energy. It filled like a small part, but then these lights started appearing, like these orbs.
In the woodland, not in the sky.
In the woodland, yeah, sort of. If you can imagine, like 3 foot off the ground.
Right.
And these orbs were coming out in just random, but there were different colors. There were like yellows, greens, reds.
How big, Mark? How big were they?
Only small. Only small. I'd say half a foot in diameter each.
So like just a bit bigger than a tennis ball, then.
Yeah. So these were shooting out quite fast, and so I went over. I didn't feel any fear, and I went over, and I was looking at the ground. By this time, all that had disappeared, and I'm just looking at the ground. And there was this weird feeling, and then as I looked up like this, I saw a face made of leaves.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm only tiny. How big?
I'm sorry to cut through there, Mark. I hope you don't mind, but you're a young boy. You're looking up at a face. So I take it you're in thick foliage, or are
I'm
you
on the
against
edge of this. I'm on the edge of this meadow. So this is the first tree on the edge of the meadow, and then it goes into the thick bushland. So this is right on the edge of this meadow.
The edge, so you're able to see. I'm trying to work out how you could see. If you can see this face, I'm thinking you're really close. But sorry,
well, the trees to the left of this thing, and then I'm looking down. I didn't see. I can't remember if I saw any feet, but it's like I recognised legs or a form.
Yeah.
And as I looked up, well, you know how tall's a 6-year-old? I'd what, 3 foot? I don't know, but
Yeah.
I'm looking up, and his face just appeared, but it was smiling.
Yeah.
No teeth or anything, just a grin, a big nose, but everything was leaves. Everything was leaves.
Mm.
But I just remembered the big nose, the big bulbous nose. You know, like Gandalf's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that old face. He had an old face, a really old face.
And the face is made up of leaves.
Yeah, just leaves. It like leaves. And years later, I think I was in Driffield, and I was looking through some bric-a-brac stuff, and it had this plate, and it was the Green Man, and that was his face. If
Wow.
anything, when I saw that, it spooked me. I was like, that is what I saw. That, and you see it on churches, don't you?
Absolutely. There's in Rudston, and you know, I know you know where Rudston is, where the monolith is. There's I'm sure there's a green man inside the church. You know, a depiction of the green man, and like you said, old carvings of the green man, and prior to. Obviously, there's lots of literature in folklore, but prior to listening to you, Mark, you know, I'm thinking to myself, as not you necessarily, but as a child or as a young person, have they mistaken this and this because it's in the trees? But your description of the face actually being made up of the leaves is truly fascinating. And what colour were these leaves, Mark?
They were the same colour as a normal, because it was summer. They were green.
Yeah.
They were great. They just looked like normal leaves.
And if you were to estimate its size, what would you? I know you're 6 years old; it's difficult, but you're with some older boys. You know, your sister's.
Well,
friends.
they've gone by this point.
They've gone, but I'm on about with the size comparison.
Well, I'm craning my neck. I'd say at least 6-7 foot.
Really?
At least. It felt bigger. My memory, when I think back, it just felt bigger. It felt huge, and it scared the living daylights out of me.
But when it smiled, were you happy until it smiled? At what point then, Mark?
It was just the immense size of it. It was just the immense size of it.
Yeah.
It was just it got me that bad. I got home and I said I'd seen that, because I said that I called him the Stick Man to my dad.
Right.
And every night, you know, when you lie down and you can hear your heartbeat through your eardrum. Sorry, your ear. If you press and you get that. I had that much anxiety. I think that noise. I thought he was coming through the woods to come and get me.
So on a night you're still waiting for this thing. You're still that traumatized.
Yeah. I had night terrors for years.
And so you're 6 years old when you've seen it, and you had night terrors for years. So when you say years, how long? To your teens or beyond?
Well, I've always been scared of the dark.
After that,
not so much now, but yeah, because I had another around about the same time. I'd say it must have been close to that time. Me and my brother lived in Bug.
I know you're going to tell me about the other one, but could we stay with this just for 5 minutes, if possible, unless it's going to detract from your train of thought? Because you said you saw the leaves, the eyes. What colour were the eyes?
They were blue.
And were they white around where the?
No, I just saw the blue. You know, like we got whites, where I just saw blue. Yeah, like the whole thing was blue.
That's amazing, and that's an important part, I feel, for your experience, for our listeners and anybody listening to it beyond Truth Proof, because there's so many elements of it. I said originally, could it have been a man in a ghillie suit? And you, quite honestly, you said could have been. But then as we dig deeper into it and get below these layers, we realize that the eyes are totally opposite to what you would expect a human eye to look like. So I'm not wanting to put words in your mouth here, but just nice blue eyes, or were they a really rich color?
They were striking. They weren't like they were real vivid.
Yeah,
vivid blue. I'm colorblind,
right?
So I'm sort of what I know of blue.
Yeah, I'm
an electrician and I'm colorblind. Believe that.
But that gets a bit dangerous at times. All right, has it in the past?
Well, I'm an industrial, so yeah, I put a meter on everything.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we've established that this thing's huge, possibly, I don't know, 7 foot tall or even bigger, and you're looking up at it. What distance are you away from it then, Mark?
I'm literally like a meter. Not even that, I don't think, because by the time I got up to it, because I'm in the midst of this thing, this energy or whatever. By the time I got up to the stump of the tree, I'm at its feet.
Yeah,
I'm not even a meter, I don't think,
and
because that's what I'm looking down and I'm going in my head. My memory of this is in my head. I'm like, what am I looking at? Because you know when you're looking at a tree, oh, that's a big tree, you know. But as the thought and as I came in it, because I just remember I'm up like this. I'm looking at its face and it's looking down
and smiling and did the fear?
Yeah, it did have a smile.
Did the wave of fear come on as you're looking up at it?
Yeah. Absolutely.
What about your friends in the woodland? Because I'm trying to work out whether you just turned and ran, whether you, pardon the pun, rooted to the spot, same as this tree man. But you know,
I ran. Because they disappeared by this point. You know, because they didn't see me because I'm at the back. They've just gone with the ladder.
Yeah.
And then this thing's caught my eye, and yeah.
Was that the last time you went in that woodland?
No, I did, but whenever I did, I went with someone.
Yeah.
And it wasn't at night. Never at night.
So right, good point then, because I don't know if we covered this, then I must have missed it. What time was this?
This would be about midday.
Midday.
Yeah, from what I remember, it you know, like when you get to dusk, and it was a blaring hot summer's day. So I'm sort of guessing it. I can't remember.
No,
I'm sorry,
6 years old. No, we've just got a rough. You're painting an amazing picture here, Mark, of what you saw and experienced from memory as a 6-year-old boy, and obviously prior to that you've had the accident, and you believe that that's the catalyst for all of what followed. You're better placed than anybody to think that. So I'm not disagreeing in any way, shape, or form. Did you see any movement from this creature?
It was by the time I clocked it, it was looking down, and
So the elderly lady who owned the house in the wood or on the edge of the wood, did you ever tell her?
No, I can't remember, to be fair.
No. Yeah, I'm sorry for digging out little questions. It's just interesting. But you definitely told your mum.
I told my dad because he reminded me.
Yeah. So you definitely told your dad. Yeah. And what was it? What were his views on it?
He'd always been into. When I talked to him, like later on in life, like in my teens and that, he'd always had a fascination with folklore. There was a lot of folklore around there, Paul.
Yeah,
a lot. I mean, they had the Dragon's Well, which was just down the road, where they had an old story of a witch that lived there. And I mean, that area, and especially Four Ashes, the Green Man was seen down there a lot, and they think it was on a ley line.
Yeah, fascinating, because I think I'll have to have a little dig about, but I think I've got a few reports from that area of,
Yeah.
of Bigfoot.
Ah,
So that's
right.
quite interesting. We'll just jump back to the lights that you'd seen moving about in the woodland.
Yeah.
Obviously, just a bit bigger than a tennis ball, different colours, white, yellow, green. Were
Yeah.
there electrical energy to the lights?
They weren't going straight. They were zipping.
Yeah, but did you see sparkling haze to them?
No, they were very bright. They were
Just very
piercing.
bright.
Yeah, piercing bright.
We're in the daylight, so you'll probably not know if they were illuminating anything anyway. But do you think they were connected to what you saw?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, because it all happened. That curling ribbon. Then the lights appeared, and I just think this. I mean, I've got a few. I've gone down a rabbit hole because I mean there's been so many encounters in my life. I've got quite a few. If you got the time, Paul.
What I'd like to do is maybe cover another one, and then if you've time on at another date, we can do more.
Yeah, I've got.
Providing you're fine with that. So
Yeah,
just before we leave the lights then and the green man, what
yeah.
do you think he was?
I think he was a nature spirit.
Right.
I think he was a nature spirit, or of, of the old. When you read the old Nordic tales and their folklore, they believed in the 9 realms, and we are on the middle realm or the middle plane, and we've got realms below and realms above, and they used to speak of Elfheim, or they had these different houses for these different entities, some being lighter, some being darker. But I think this was a nature spirit of.
Yep, a nature spirit. And we'll draw back to night time. You're hearing your heartbeat. That's the effect it's got on you, because I think I'm 62. I seem keen on telling people that, but I'm 62. And throughout my life, we all have different experiences. And I think everybody could relate to one where they've been frightened and they can actually hear their heart beating without doing that.
You're right.
That was a common occurrence for you in bed alone then, was it, Mark?
Yeah. Night terrors were. I had them from as far as I can remember, all the way through my. After that experience, I had night terrors. Used to wake up sweating and.
Did you? Oh, right, okay. And did you actually think this thing was physically, or were going to come physically into the room and, I don't know, stand over you? Whilst having the night terrors, or the following day after the night terrors, were your parents aware that you'd had these, or did you ever discuss it with them why this was happening?
No. My dad always turned the lights off. He said, "Can you leave the light on?" Only when we were crook or ill, you'd put one of those. Do you remember those old burners with they were like a little tin, and they put a candle in it.
A tilly lamp.
Yeah. So and it sent off a scent or something. When you were poorly.
Yeah.
Remember that? That was the only light.
That was the only light. Yeah. So it's a lonely place then, weren't it? After that.
Yeah.
So, walk us into how things progressed after seeing the green man, please, Mark.
So it from my recollection, it was around about the same time, and me and my brother's only a year older than me, and we used to share a tiny little room, but we had bunk beds, and we used to fight over who had the top bunk. And this particular occasion, I was on the top bunk, and I awoke, and so my eye line, if you can imagine, I'm on the top bunk, so this thing would have been at roughly about 5 foot, maybe 6 foot, because you have to climb up. So I'm guessing about 5 foot in the air. and it was I tell you what it reminded me of. You know those old, the patterns on an old laundry basket, those plastic laundry baskets, the squares.
Yeah, yeah.
You know that pattern, where it was a sphere, and it was the size of a basketball, and it had that pattern on the inside, and it was
Right.
spinning anti-clockwise, and it had that pattern, but the pattern stayed still, even though I could see it was spinning.
You were aware of something spinning. So the outside was
Yeah,
spinning, do you think?
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And whatever this thing was, it had those squares in it. It was like it was bluish. It had a tint of green on it as well. But I could see it spinning. And then I just put the covers over my head. Another one added to the
Yeah, yeah.
night terrors. Just
And I
willing
don't
it
blame
to.
you. No, did your brother witness that?
No.
Do you think then that that was connected, going back to the Green Man, to what you'd seen in the woodland? I'm thinking because of the spheres.
Yeah.
You saw spheres of
Yeah.
light in the woodland prior to seeing this creature of leaves, and then you've seen a sphere in your bedroom.
I've never connected the two, to be fair, Paul.
No.
I never thought, oh, that might have been off. It could have been. I don't know.
That
It
is
absolutely.
fascinating. Well, it's a similar thing, isn't it? Yeah. Obviously, there's a different size. Yeah, but you're talking about something much smaller in the woodland. But once again, the connection is the spheres of light. Just to detract from that for a moment, because you kind of ticked a box in my mind. Years ago, we went to the cliff tops, myself and Steve Ashbridge.
Yeah.
Steve will remember this. And we were, if he listens to this, and we were looking at the spheres of light over the sea, the orange spheres of light, and some of them were red. But
Yeah.
one of them was very close. And I'm not talking as close as what you encountered, but it was close. We're talking like 80, 90 feet away in the air. But whilst we were observing this, it looked, and you used the washing basket as an example of the squares, and I can picture that. I don't know if some
Yeah.
of our younger viewers will remember the old washing baskets, but they're probably still available today. But I
Yeah.
said to Steve, can you see all the little squares and diamonds in it? It looks like a paper basket, a wire paper basket within
Wow.
it. And
Wow.
I remember saying it. I thought I could see almost wire,
Right.
squares and little diamonds of wire within this sphere. And I don't necessarily think we saw what you saw, but what if the mechanics of it and the science of these spheres, if that's what we could call it, like you've just said, nature spirit, it's something probably that's never been created in a laboratory. It's just there, isn't it? We don't know how these things appear, but it might be a similar method or something that's universal across the land for these things to manifest, and the actual structure of them may look like that. I just could see the similarities as you were describing it. So how did things progress after that then? Did you speak about that one?
No, I never spoke about anything I saw because I had quite a few experiences, and I never told anybody.
No.
Not after that, no, because you know England, like school, you just get the Mickey taken out of you, or
Yeah.
I mean, especially because I think with that head knock, I used to see auras around people. I used to see their energy fields, and especially if I was bored, we've got magnolia walls here, so if someone's leant up against that, I can see their aura or their energy field.
And is that only in the physical then, Mark? And you know where I'm going with this, because obviously we're talking virtual, it's other side of the world. Is it only in the physical? You've got to have somebody stood in front of you, not...
No, I see birds, trees. Trees is a good one,
Yeah,
because like if you've got a big tree, and especially at like twilight, you sort of, I'll tell you what it's like. If you look at a light bulb for a long time and then you look away, you see that the light
yeah,
bulb wherever you look, it's like that. But
I see.
and it's like smoke. It's like cigarette smoke.
Mm.
coming off.
Around the outer edges of it.
It's like as if they're giving off
Mm.
an energy of some
Yeah,
description.
just to draw you back, because I'm not sure you realised what I was getting at, and it's probably me that's not articulated it right.
Right.
If you're looking at me now,
Yeah.
so we're virtual. The person, if you're going to see the aura, has it got to be face to face or looking
Yeah.
into the distance at trees and birds, not looking
Yeah.
at a TV screen?
No,
Got
I
it.
can't. No, yeah, no. It's physically there. Yeah,
Yeah, and I can't help but think that the head injury has somehow rewired something in your brain, if that's simplifying it, and allowing you to do this. Do you think that your experience with the Green Man was because of the difference and the way that you thought, perhaps?
inside into it, in my intuition, I feel as if that head injury has something to do with what I've experienced in my life, because there's been quite a few experiences,
Yeah.
sort of on and off over the years.
Oh, wow.
That was just weird.
Saw it twice, so I was like, oh my god.
Oh, it's just as weird.